Don't you think
it's just
that
feeling.
the human body is a bigger model? Well, the human body is a bigger model than like a watch, though. So,
Here's the thing: the
all right,
human body has trillions of nerves, different veins, vasculature. It's different on every single person. It has to be watched out for. I'd say a human body, while it is bigger, it is way more complicated than
yeah,
a watch. Way
yeah,
more complicated.
I will give you that on the complication of it, but due to the fact that all the small parts and all the screwing and all that good stuff.
Yeah, those same parts. Once you get into the body, it might look like a big meat sack, but it is at the same level. Like minuscule little adjustments
All right,
can
well,
either kill you or save your life.
trust me. According to yeah, well, I already know it's due to our bone structure. Yeah, I hear you out on that one. All
Right.
right, I hear you. All right, then let's get into our man Pierce.
Exhibition of the new
Got me
administration's
there.
transparency. First, she told Fox News that Epstein's client list was sitting on her desk. Next, she handed out binders of information already in the public domain to conservative influencers who were visiting the White House, who were duped into claiming the Epstein files had been released. Now, the client list that was apparently sitting on her desk now apparently doesn't exist at all. And what about the words of White House counsel and lawyer Alina Habba speaking on this show in February?
Incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability.
So what happened? Secret names, lists, accountability. This is why the latest developments are likely to satisfy absolutely nobody. It's entirely possible there was never anything more to know, and it was all just used for political expediency. If so, it's not working out to be very expedient. We Brits have a phrase for situations like this. Is it a cock-up or a conspiracy? In this case, it might actually be both. Well, joining me to debate this some more, Jack Posobiec, who's the senior editor of Human Events and one of the influencers who was handed those non-event Epstein files.
Shout out to my man Vladstein. He says, "Hola, Tesla bot farm, senor. Si, senor." Huh?
Yes, Set. I'm telling you, whenever you get a moment in the show, I'd love to just unload this on you.
I'm just imagining such a villainous situation where we just let the immigrants stay, we let them work, and then one day we just pull up with a big ass truck full of AI Tesla robots, and we're just like, "All right, guys, they're getting out, but you're getting in," and then we just drive off with the illegals. Like,
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that crazy, but even you want to talk about low wage workers. They're predicting these bots to be between $20,000 and $50,000. Now, mind you, they don't need to eat, they don't need to sleep. They need to charge their battery and get back to work. That's all it is.
But depending on how expensive that maintenance cost is, for all you know, man, that maintenance cost might be like a foreign car maintenance cost.
Well, think about the maintenance cost.
Fix an elbow, you might have to spend like $3,000, Monty.
I mean, that's still better than health insurance. That's still better. Think about it from a just a pure financial standpoint.
No, you're right.
Not to disinclude, getting rid of slave trades and like that shrimp slave trade that you were talking about last night. That can be completely eliminated. You make the robots the slaves, and robots don't have feelings. Robots don't have emotions. You're not going to make them feel bad and feel miserable. They're just there to do a job. They're a tool.
Yep. And, whipping them would be useless because, well, like you said, no emotions.
Right. Then you got to pay someone like Castro that's freaking smart as shit $100 an hour to work on them.
Man.
But that's going to happen once a week. Maybe.
You're right. I mean, yeah. I'm pretty sure if we just really financially work it out, I could see AI robots being very cheap, even if the repairs are overly expensive.
I think we're looking at this all the wrong way. I don't even think it's going to be a matter of how cheap or how expensive. My prediction is within the next, I'd say 10 years, within the next 24 months, we're going to have robots doing jobs. But within the next 10 years, we're going to live in a world where our economy is no longer based on money. We're going to have a world in which the entire supply chain of the dangerous, treacherous, and dirty jobs are all done by robots. And humans are going to be left to what they want to do. You know, you want to go and compete in a Olympic sport, you now have all your time freed up to do it. A robot's doing your job for you.
Yeah,
like,
you want to sit there and paint all day, man, paint to your heart's content, dude. Da Vinci, go ahead, knock it out.
Yeah, and we're going to have a much better, it's going to be almost like Star Trek, like where people are just doing jobs because they want to do them, not because they need to do them, not because, you know, they need a paycheck, because all of that can be replaced by a robot. Like, people are arguing minutia right now. It's like, oh, they can't do watches. Well, humans couldn't do watches at one point in time either.
Yep. And guess what, Monty? And then we could do socialism.
Yeah, no, that's my, I've said it on the show before. If we actually had means to support socialism, I would be completely for it. But we don't have the means. The only way socialism can work is if you have slaves. If you have robots that are willing participants, now you have sustainable abundance.
Okay. All right, man. Let's keep it going.
John Kiriakou, who's a former CIA intelligence officer whistleblower, host of CIA Declassified on Unified TV. Brian Shapiro, the host of Pushing the Limits. And Midas Touch commentator Adam Mockler. Well, welcome to all of you. Jack, let me start with you. What has happened here? I mean, we were all led down a train of thought that there was going to be all sorts of stuff coming out about this Epstein case, the files, the names, the lists, accountability, and then boom.
Yes, Fox Chase,
it's all disappeared.
Robot to work for you.
Yeah, Piers. I mean, this is, as we would say in the military.
Nah, for real, I'd buy one too if that was the case. Like, hey.
Well, think about it. You're one person, right, Set?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously you can't have a robot personality. I mean, you have AI personalities on the internet already, but I don't know what your job is right now, like your actual job, but you can send your robot to work for you. Now you're going to get froggy. Oh, I'm going to go send another robot to work for me because I have the money just saved up. Oh, my mom's sick. I'm going to send get her a robot so she can work.
My job is a bit hands-on, but it ain't that. I mean, hey, it ain't nothing that AI can't walk around and do. For talking Tesla robots,
yeah, like I actually went to the We Robot event in LA. Now, mind you, these robots were being controlled by humans off-site. But I had robots pouring me drinks, handing me things, doing simple tasks. And like, it is wild. They can hold their balance, they can walk, you can push them and they won't fall over.
And that is when Monty fell in love with AI.
Yeah, you have to see it for yourself.
All right, I can see that. My man experienced it like in full force. Like, we've only seen videos. All right, then.
Completely unsat from Attorney General Pam Bondi, and this line about there being files that are currently under seal in some criminal case. Well, then great. Let's go and get those unsealed as soon as possible. Look, I was brought to the White House under the pretense of a series of policy briefings that were going to be held, not just from the AG, but we had the vice president came in, the president came in, Bobby Kennedy came in. So we had a rotating series of people from the administration, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. And then nobody told us prior to this that the Epstein files would be anywhere even on the agenda for that day. And it was really sprung as a surprise to all of us. We get handed these binders, and then before we even have a chance to look into them, we're hauled out actually in front of the cameras that were all there because Prime Minister Keir Starmer was visiting the White House that day. And it just so happened that they were all in front of the West Wing. And by the time that we have the ability to actually go through them, well, lo and behold, we find out that it's all information that was completely already in the public domain. In fact, some of the information that was in the public domain was more extensive than what was given to us on that day. So the whole thing.
Yeah, that's was the BS about the first Epstein release was BS, because it was already stuff that we already knew. Actually, we had more details on it than the release files.
When they raided Epstein, didn't they get something like 22,000 files, and now there's
And
only
terabyte
like
and
2,000?
terabytes of videos.
Yeah, and now there's only what, 2,000?
So
Who
my, I don't even know how to fall on this, but my understanding of this is, yeah, sure, they might have got 20,000 hours of video, but like I said, what if 19,000 hours of that video was, you know, surveillance video of different courtyards or different hallways? How much of it is actual actionable, you know, damning evidence? Now,
well, remember, we do have Pam Bondi in public saying that they have like thousands of hours of child pornography.
yeah, I'd like to know where that went. Absolutely. Because she acknowledged that they have it. Now, did she lie to the American public and try to, you know, stir
Now,
up
bro, here's the
support?
thing, though. Remember, I think it was James O'Keefe who exposed her saying it to like a nanny of hers. So before she even told the American public, she told somebody in private while out to dinner or lunch, it seems. So that's the scary part about it, because it's like, Pam, you got caught up saying this before you even told the public.
Yeah.
Now that you told the public and we know that you said it before, it's like, all right, like we know you said this off camera, so there has to be some validity to it.
Yeah, so they're hiding something. Either that or they don't have enough to make an actionable case. Like I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think people on the right are going to be happy unless, like, you know, oh yeah, George Soros is on the island. Oh yeah, all these people that we hate are on the island. I don't think we're never going to get that. Like, I
don't think that's reality. I mean, I think most of it's already been burned.
I do too. That was going to be my next point. I think in reality, the people that, you know, we're speculating about, they have the means to destroy evidence. And you know, we forget that for the past 4 years, who's been in power?
Right.
The people that we're speculating are in on it. Like, what's to stop them from deleting and destroying that evidence?
Actually, Monty, you know what? Your take just remind me similarly of Andrew Tate's take on the matter. Actually, let's go ahead and hear him out.
Like, do you think they're just going to leave it there for everybody to find?
Good point. But all right, guys, 3 minutes. Let's hear this man out, because it kind of sounds like what you were saying, Monty.
Money is the driving force behind all politics. It always will be, because it is your primary objective to not only make people believe they can be rich, but to keep your rich people happy, to keep your oligarchy happy, and to keep them politically invested in you. So you talk about the Epstein list. I would argue it's a very similar scenario. It's all about money. It's all about who has the money and controlling the money. Is America as a country prepared to upset all of its richest people? I don't know. Is it? Is it prepared to upset all of its richest people to appease bloodthirsty brokies who don't even care about justice? They just want the drama. Another question. Because I would argue that the murders that happen every day on the street are very interesting, but no one cares about that. MS-13 and all this shit, no one really cares about that. But this Epstein list they really care about. They want justice, sure, but it's a drama. It's interesting. They want to find out. They're curious. And I'm asking you, as a professional, you're in charge of a country. Your primary objective is to keep your oligarchy happy, to keep the wealth inside of your nation, and to make them obey you when it comes to sanctions and such other things, and to ensure that the US dollar becomes and stays the predominant currency globally. There's a bunch of bloodthirsty brokies on the internet who barely pay taxes who want to go through a list. Who are you going to prioritize? Who do you care about? I'm not saying it's fair, but anyone who believes the legal systems are fair is a dumbass anyway, because the legal system's never been fair. There's always been a who are you involved in all legal cases. So when you talk about the Epstein things, I sit and think it's all money orientated, because broke people like to think that rich people should be held accountable like broke people. And that's a great idea. But guess what? They're not. They're not. Rich people have a different capability to fight against legal cases than a broke person. They can have better lawyers. They have better media spin. They have PR. They have news outlets. I'm not talking about myself, because I'm not rich like these people. These people own news networks. They can affect public sentiment, which affects a jury, which affects their case. This is the bottom line of it. At the top level, at the top echelon of fame and money, legal cases aren't even about law. They're just a circus. If they pick you up, it's only deliberately to attack your image. It's not even about law at that point, like Trump. It was only to attack his image. With me, it was to attack my image. They didn't give a shit. They got a conviction. They got a shit about keeping me in a country where I couldn't work, trying to take away all my money, and slandering me every day on the news. That's all they wanted to do. So you have to analyze these things as a professional and understand you're talking about the most powerful people in the world on this list, perhaps. And you're asking, why is the list not come out? I would argue that the most powerful people in the world, if they have half a brain, are talking to Cash and Pam and saying, look, maybe this is on, maybe I'm on that list, maybe I did something bad, but also look at all the good I've done. This. You want to appease a few Twitter autists, but it's going to have this consequence, that consequence, that consequence, that consequence, that consequence. And then as a rational adult, there's rational conversations to have. And rational conversations are about subjectivity and compromise. It's not about sitting and saying, that's the law, so that's what we're going to do. Da, da, da. And that's what we all like to believe, that the law.
So, wild conspiracy theory then. Wild theory here. So Seth's wild speculation. So what if Trump used the Epstein list to pretty much get his big, beautiful bill through, and that's why he's kind of hushing it up right now?
Oof.
I know, right? Wild conspiracy.
I mean, I know. I don't even think it's a conspiracy. I think that's the logical conclusion.
Whew. Man,
honestly,
I was afraid you was gonna say that because I'm like, man, why does this seem so plausible? Like and it sounded wild coming out. Yeah.
When you need to apply logic to things you don't understand, common sense is the most logical conclusion, is probably the right one.
Yeah, and sadly, the most scariest conclusion, and that's because that's the scariest conclusion to me, is that, all right, man, he's like, no, I ain't releasing these Epstein files until I get my way.
Well, I always like to say it like this. Julius Caesar didn't believe in conspiracy either.
Oof, look at how that went.
Et tu, Brute?
Man, that was the line of the story right there. That was the line of the story.
His best
friend.
This is the nuclear weapon in politics right now, and it's gonna go. I hate to say it, but I think this is just gonna go away. It's gonna go by the wayside, and no one's ever gonna care. And
we'll see it 10 years later.
Maybe
when it don't even matter, when all the guys are dead, or either just like, we don't give a damn no more.
I mean, all the guys that were responsible for killing Kennedy are dead, and we still don't know about that.
No, we do. Remember, they released everything. It was what was it? Supposed to be 2 shooters. Israel was involved. So we got an idea what happened. Kennedy.
Like, has somebody actually gone through the 100,000 pages that they just legal dumped on us?
Yeah. Like, I think the conclusion is that it was Israel that took out Kennedy. And hired the Oswald guy. Well, the assassin, who wasn't really even the shooter. It was supposed to be a second guy. You know what? No, I actually got the perfect video on that breaks it down perfectly. Don't worry, I'll play it one day. But it breaks it down perfect.
Have you seen that documentary on Hulu? Or not documentary? It's like a reenactment, like drama show on Hulu about like going back in time and reviewing Lee Harvey Oswald and all that shit. It's 11. It's the date that Kennedy was shot, and that's the name of the show. I forgot the date though.
Dope. All right, Douglas.
Zapruder films. Pardon. Zapruder. I guess I've never even said that word before. Do you know what films I'm talking about? The guy that did all the angles for the JFK assassination. Zapruder.
I would not know, but hold on, guys. Let's keep it going on this one. And hold on, shout out my man Castro. He said, "Hey, Seth, find out Melinda Gates interview from Melinda Gates." All right, let's see.
Obviously, I think, as you say, is a cock up. I hope I'm using that phrase correctly. I'm not entirely familiar with it, but that certainly feels like what happened here. And we don't have the accountability that was spoken of. We don't have the releases that were spoken of. And it's indefensible. It's indefensible that the answers aren't there when so much was promised.
Brian Shapiro, I mean, look, it's perfectly possible. Indeed, it looks increasingly likely that Epstein did indeed just commit suicide. What is not perfectly possible, to my cynical eye about this, is that he was the only person other than Ghislaine Maxwell, who's been imprisoned, who was ever up to criminal activity on his island and other places. It just stretches credulity. But nobody, it seems, is ever going to be held accountable other than him, who evaded accountability by dying, killing himself, or Ghislaine Maxwell, a woman. So none of these other men who were linked to this are ever going to be even remotely held accountable.
Hey, I just want to point your attention to your subscriber count.
Oh crap! Let me see here. Hey, let's go! Hey guys, shout out! We finally hit 100,000 subscribers. Hey man, appreciate the support, guys, because we're just a little bit over 100,000, just a little bit over. So let's try to get to 100,000. Well, yeah, let's do the real goal. Let's try to get to 1 million next, but let's try to get that 100,000 solidified by getting it to 100,000.1, 101, 100.1K.
Congrats!
That's how you
man.
know you solidified it. But hey, man, I appreciate it, guys. And man, no, shout out to you guys though. You guys definitely have helped me along the way, and I do appreciate you guys, like truly.
Not to interrupt the video. I just happened to look at it. Someone said they subscribed, and I was like, oh, I wonder what his count's at. And I saw it.
Hey, man, appreciate that, Monty. But all right, guys, let's keep it going. And man, shout out.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just disappeared.
congratulations! I forgot I was on mic.
Well, what I would say, Pierce, first of all, when Haba did your show, where did she get that information
Right.
from? Where did that come from back in February? I would also say to Pam Bondi, she lied on Fox News, or maybe she was telling the truth. She said she had a list that was on her desk, Pierce. Where did that list go? Was she lying? Was that made up? And I'd also say, thirdly, and I know this is something that Jack probably doesn't want to bring up, but the fact of the matter is that Jeffrey Epstein's on audio saying at one point Donald Trump was his best friend. We also know that Donald Trump was on the Epstein flight log 7 times. We learned that in the Maxwell case. So I don't think it's a stretch to say maybe Donald Trump might be somewhere in these files. Maybe. We don't know that for sure. But I know if it was the other way around, and if it was Joe Biden that was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein at one point, that's all Jack and MAGA Republicans would be talking about. I think Donald Trump.
But we can go ahead and switch that argument right around on him and say
it's the same thing for Donald Trump. They had the Justice Department for 4 years. If Donald Trump was on that list, he'd be in jail right now.
it'd be over. They would have wasted no time.
They'd have found a way to isolate themselves and just point out Donald Trump, and Mar-a-Lago would have been raided with a arrest warrant.
Man, like, bro, I'm pretty sure they looked at it. They said, all right, man, we can't get Trump with this, but just throw it away.
But I mean, I gotta ignore my bias here for a second. I like, as much as I love the president, you cannot rule it out. People in power do shady things,
Fair.
but
because I mean, that is fair. Hey, that is a fair assessment. Now, when they say Trump is in the Epstein files, well, he is in there as a cooperator. Like, he was out there giving out information.
Oh yeah, he built the case for the FBI, which is, I mean,
so when they say Trump's in the Epstein files, we tell him, yeah, you're right. He helped them. Of course he's going to be
he's
in there.
A state witness. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course he's going to be in there.
Is on this list. And I think Donald Trump is in these files. And I think the Trump administration is hiding something.
I mean, what is extraordinary, I think, Brian, is that it all seems to have gone incredibly quiet from the moment Elon Musk started dragging Trump's name into the Epstein case when they fell out in posts on his X platform. And he's carried on overnight doing more posts, not directly linking the president, but saying what the hell has happened here effectively. But he was the one that ignited the Trump link again. You do wonder, is that involved here? Is Trump basically thought this is just going to be a lot of bad publicity here? Let's just get rid of it.
Yeah, well, I'll say this, Pierce. Anytime somebody says something about Donald Trump that might not be true, Trump always threatens a lawsuit. Why?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. It was just ABC and who else was it? Who recently got sued by Trump? Because let's be real, Trump kind of set up all of liberal media. Anybody in liberal media can catch a defamation lawsuit by Trump and it'd be valid. Just because they called this man Hitler, rapist. It wasn't just ABC doing this. It's kind of like he just chose ABC to pick on at a certain point. So, let's be real. Trump could have went after a whole lot more people if he wanted to. Actually, he could really go after individuals if he wanted to. Honestly, yeah.
I think it's pretty funny how Bill Maher brought Donald Trump a list of all the insults that he did, and Donald Trump signed it.
Exactly. It's like, let's be real. There were some salacious things that Bill Maher said that Trump could have hopped on him about.
Yeah, Trump doesn't go and just sue people willy-nilly. He sues people that have actually done harm, and he has a standing for.
Yeah, when ABC, national news out here is calling you a rapist, it's a little different than your podcaster calling Trump a rapist every day.
Or, Elon Musk. Like, here's the thing. No one actually takes Elon Musk seriously. Elon Musk is not, in the files of the FBI reading the Epstein list. He hasn't had access to it. That was pure speculation, and that was him being upset.
Well, also
60 Minutes, that's what it was.
If you look at the video of Elon Musk when he's saying it, the look on his face, I've seen the look before. That's a video gamer raging.
Elon Musk didn't say it personally. He said it over Twitter.
I saw a video of him saying something. I don't recall exactly where or what, but the look on his face, he was not happy.
Man, look, like the publicity that's surrounding Elon right now, trust me. And this what's going on with Tesla, it is what it is.
Hey, to ask Paul a question, he said, does anyone really know what Elon had access to? Yes. You don't have access to investigations you're not a part of that you have no business being access to. Like, I don't care who you are.
Clearance.
Yeah. The only reason Elon said that was to get under Trump's skin. That was the only reason he said that.
That was a I hate you. That was a toxic relationship sign right there.
Yeah.
If you have clearance to do agriculture for the feds that, they just won't release that info to the public, you still can't get clearance to military stuff.
Right. And Elon Musk has a TSCI. He has the highest security clearance beside the president. He builds weapons, for God's sake.
And rockets.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
But the plans are kept tight.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Let's keep it going.
Donald Trump, that might not be true. Trump always threatens a lawsuit. Why is it that Donald Trump didn't threaten to sue Elon Musk when Elon Musk said that Trump was all over the Epstein files? I find that to be very, very interesting. Bill Maher could call Donald Trump the son of an orangutan, and then Trump will file a lawsuit about that.
I mean, like I said, yeah, he's kind of like, bro, that doesn't fall under defamation. That doesn't. Name calling, no. You can be a name caller, but you can't sit there and call a man a rapist.
Defamation is a wanton tort against another person that causes harm.
Exactly. So calling that man an orangutan, funny, but not defamation.
And this is why we have the rule of law. In America, you're innocent until proven guilty, and the burden of proof is upon the accuser.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't he file a lawsuit against Elon? Maybe Elon is telling the truth, and maybe Elon knows some things that the general public does not know. I tend to believe Elon on this one.
It's certainly intriguing. John Kiriakou, what do you think has happened here? I mean, Epstein, one of the most infamous cases of the last 20 years, of the century, arguably. So many famous, powerful, rich people whose names were dragged into this and were clearly in attendance at his parties and on his island and so on. And then here, now suddenly, having led the media around the world into a lava of excitement about it's all going to come out and you're going to get all the details, now, bang, it's just been shelved. What do you make of it?
Right.
Also said,
you've probably seen the viral.
Yo.
Just this was a theory that someone had proposed to me. We all, when this first happened, we all thought this was kind of political theater and kind of staged. The theory that I've heard is that Trump basically made Elon distance himself and do it in a highly visible way that no one would question. And that's part of the reason he's getting some of the intel that he's getting, because there's satellites up in space right now because of Tesla or because of SpaceX.
Yeah, but don't think he went too far with making the American party like.
I don't know what it was, but I know I saw Elon's face, and unless he's the world's greatest actor, he was not acting.
I don't think he's acting because of. Yeah, go ahead. My bad, Monty.
I was gonna say, what is this video? Can you link it in the back end?
It was some interview. I'll do some searches.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it going, guys.
in the CIA and the FBI. You know, the CIA said there was no torture program. That was a lie. No international renditions. That was a lie. No secret prisons. That was a lie. MK Ultra documents were all released. That was a lie. The CIA didn't try to recruit Oswald. That's a lie. These organizations that make up the so-called deep state, and we can have that debate whether or not you want to call it the deep state, but they all lie. They're trained to lie. And so I don't even think that we should blame the likes of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. I think people probably at a lower level destroyed whatever they could destroy and let the lie go up to the very top and hope that this whole thing just goes away. If there are no documents to implicate famous people, then it'll eventually go quiet. And my guess is in 30 years or 50 years or whenever it's going to be, at least some of the truth will probably be released.
Adam Mockler, I mean, it does stick in the gullet, doesn't it, that the only person to go to prison and the whole Epstein scandal is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, John said he thinks the people at the bottom might have destroyed the evidence, but the reality is the people at the top, like Pam Bondi, were the ones saying they had the list sitting on their desk. So it seems like that deep state you referred to, the party that promised to defeat the deep state, very quickly became the deep state. Here's the timeline in my eyes. Pam Bondi says, I have the list on my desk right here. They're rather silent for a few months. Then Elon Musk says Trump is in the Epstein list. Then within weeks, apparently the list is gone. I mean, I'm looking at this photo of Jack Posobiec holding up the Epstein files. It says the Epstein files, phase 1. But where's phase 2? There's no phase 2. So I'm happy that influencers like Jack are admitting they were conned by the admin to cover up the sexual abuse of children.
Yeah, Jack, I mean, do you feel angry? Do you feel you were used in some way?
I'm weak.
Well, it's something. It's very upsetting. It's extremely upsetting to be brought in something like this, to think that you're going into a situation where, hey, we're finally going to get some of these answers that we all want. Because at the end of the day, this is all about getting justice for the victims here, the actual victims. And I keep going back and looking over the different pieces of this story. You know, what was Prince Andrew disgraced for? Why did he go up on this huge interview and then lose all of his titles and all that, and he's losing his security now, I hear. And why did we go all the way around, name after name after
you? Someone just said it's not gone. They're TSSCI, which means they're top secret. They've probably been classified.
Who? Epstein's
list. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming he's talking about.
Oh yeah. The client list is still top secret, but the black book isn't. The black book is good. And what I mean by, well, here's the thing: the phase 1, like that was like witness testimonies and all that good stuff. Is damn near what the lawyer for the victims proposed or pretty much gave to the DOJ. So we do not have the Epstein list, but we do have the Epstein black book, which was his, like, Epstein. Come on, now, it's back in the day. People actually used to write all their contacts in a little book that they had, not on their cell phone, guys.
Right.
So yeah, like, and you can actually look it up right now, though. You can actually go look up Epstein's black book, and you will find. I mean, you'll find the black book. It will damn near be in alphabetical order for you. You can look up Trump. It'll have Trump's name, some of his buildings in there. I mean, you can look up Bill. I mean, you can look up everybody's number. Even the Obama's numbers was in there, and who their like assistant was at the time, and all that wild stuff. No, it got pretty like. When I say that the man Loki had access to people, he did. Like he had their main number, their office number, their assistant's number. It got crazy.
So
your name,
yeah.
Like I said, how hard would it be for the previous administration to just, make that evidence, that's a single piece of evidence, just disappear?
Oh, probably not hard. Well, the black book is going to be a little bit harder, but the list, yeah, I could see that. Since
the
it's never been released,
the black book's already out there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
About the actual client list.
Yeah, the actual client list. Yeah, that could be
done that we're looking for.
Well,
that could have been thrown into a fire somewhere.
They made a lot of non-existent evidence appear. Dossier.
The dossier.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about Russia? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing. That's fabricating evidence. Destroying evidence is just as easy.
Yeah, that's it's more difficult. At least you have to have an imagination when you're making it up.
Right.
Yeah, true. Instead of just burning it, throwing it into the fireplace.
I mean, like think about this. Honest to goodness, think about this. Put yourself in the position of a cheating, lying sack of garbage. Like, just try to get there for a second, and you have complete and unfeathered access and control to the FBI that's responsible for investigating all this. Like, I don't understand. I like, even when Trump was talking about, oh, we're going to release the files and this and that, I I didn't believe him. I thought that it's gone. It's not going to be there. The people that can be hurt by it are going to do their damnedest to make sure they're not hurt by it.
Yeah, I can see that. And here's the thing, though, like when people were explaining who's on the Epstein list and they were giving their predictions, somebody gave the most accurate prediction. They said, bro, we're talking about big bankers. We're talking about people who control a large sums of American capital.
Yeah, you think those spots are just going to be vacated and filled for,
by the next guy?
Yeah. Like, do you think that the whole world is just going to get toppled over? Like, when there's a concerted effort for everybody that's on that list to not get found, and they're all powerful,
Bro, we have to go after billionaires in other countries.
It's not even about going after them. They don't even have to destroy it for themselves. The 10 billionaires that are in the United States that have access and control, because again, he worked with whatchamacallit, fake powerful people.
Yep, like Lex
that
Westwood.
had access. Do you come on, guys? If they had access to everything Epstein wanted them to have access to, do you not think that they had access to delete this stuff?
I mean, that's true. That is definitely true. They could reach like high places in the government. Who's to say that they haven't already had their hand in the FBI? And they're like, look, man, once that list touched down, burn it, put it in the shredder, get rid of it, make it disappear. All right, well, let's keep it going.
But at the end of the day, it's actually about the victims. And do you really mean to tell me that all of those victims were questioned and all of the things that they said were investigated and were run down? Because it just doesn't really feel like that's been done here.
No, it doesn't. Talking of Elon Musk, Brian, just to bring you in again here. So Musk is now simultaneous to all this. Obviously, this flame out with Trump is gathering momentum. He's now announced the launch of a new political party, the America Party. Third parties have had, a few instances in modern American history. They never tend to get very far, but we've never had the richest and most successful businessman in history launching one who's got $300 billion and happens to own one of the biggest social media platforms on which he has 200 million followers. He's not just your average third-party guy, is he? How interesting is this, and how damaging could this be, particularly to Donald Trump and the Republicans?
I think it certainly hurts Republicans and Donald Trump more than Democrats. But I would also say what you mentioned, this is the richest man in the world. With money comes a lot of power. This has been tried.
I would say this. I'll be like, look, man, at least we released phase 1. What phase was released under Biden? Oh, yeah, I thought so. Nothing. So what? Yeah, at least we gave you something. Like, okay, at least we gave y'all something. I mean, it was
not to mention that. Not to mention the only reason that we're so enthralled with this, that it's so deep and there's so many different conspiracy theories running around right now, is because of the lack of transparency that's happened for how long it's happened, right? That's how conspiracy theories fly, is when questions go unanswered and there's drama to it.
Yeah, but it all starts in Florida with a Costco. Yeah. Well, and reports of girls being paid to give Epstein massages. So
yeah. I'm not trying to degrade the horrificness of the crimes. I'm just saying the reason that all of these different theories about who's on the list and who's doing what is because there's been no transparency, and that's that.
Man, all right, shout out Monty.
The past many a times, but it hasn't been tried with someone with the money and the power that Elon Musk has. But I think the question we need to ask ourselves now is this just another phase that Elon Musk is going through? And then when this blows over, if it ever does, between him and Donald Trump, will he just move on? Or is he really, truly serious about this? You know, there are a lot of people that didn't think that he was ever going to buy Twitter.
Oh.
Now X.
And shout out to my man Daniel Castro. He said the Judge Joe Brown interview had a better take. Really? Huh. Judge Joe Brown spoke on the Epstein list? Well, it makes sense. He is a judge.
And he ended up doing that. So, you know, will he do this? Will he continue this? And in 6 months from now, will we still be talking about this? I would venture to guess probably so. It sounds to me like Elon Musk is serious, and this will be very damning, in my opinion, to plenty of MAGA Republicans out there.
Yeah, and Adam, what this all seems to center around is that he was brought in, obviously, to run Doge, to reduce government overspending and waste. And at the same time, Trump was launching the big, beautiful bill, which many people think is going to add trillions to the debt. The two were clearly incompatible bedfellows. And that's led to Musk going. Now, Trump talks about EV car mandates being one of the catalysts for the falling out or whatever. But it's probably as simple as
federal EV
one
car
person
mandates. Can I say that again? There are no federal EV car mandates. There's none. I don't know why Trump keeps saying that. There are none. There's no mandates.
Explain what you mean.
Trump keeps saying Elon's just mad because he got rid of the EV car mandate. There is no EV car mandate. Has not been one. It's just not a thing. It's a pure fabrication of the Republican Party.
So pretty much there was no EV mandate that wait, what about the ones under Biden?
Yeah,
there are none. There's no mandates that say you can't make gas cars. There's initiatives to only sell gas cars in certain states. Like California has a 2035 goal of having no EV car sales. So does Washington, I believe. But
isn't that a mandate?
That's not a federal mandate. That's a state doing that.
Then it'll be a state mandate then, pretty
right.
much.
There's no and Trump has no control over that.
Good point. Okay, now we get what you're saying. Okay.
Slash government spending. And the other one wanted to bring in policies which are highly likely, certainly in the short to midterm, to increase the national spending and debt. So there's the clash. How serious do you think this is going to get?
I don't think you should understate the extent to which Jared Isaacman, the NASA candidate, being slashed, also pissed Elon Musk off.
Right.
He was really mad about Jared Isaacman. What I find funny about all of this is that Elon Musk is now leveraging the same mechanisms that he used to get Trump elected just a few months ago to now start a third party designed to undermine Trump's coalition. So the attention economy that he has with Twitter, he's going to leverage that. The vast wealth, he's going to leverage that. As to the question of how serious this is, I actually disagree with Brian. I think in 6 months, Elon will be on to the next thing. He doesn't seem to have the steady hand needed in politics.
And here's the thing. If you're going to start a party, make sure you got some candidates to promote and not just yourself, not just memeing yourself all over Twitter. That's the problem. Like, I've seen that American Party account, and it's just a bunch of memes of Elon making fun of Trump.
Yeah,
so it's like,
again,
it existed.
To CN, there are no EV mandates. Stop saying fuck EV mandates. They don't exist. There is no law that says you have to buy an EV.
All right.
Good
carry
job.
through a long-term agenda, and we saw that with Doge.
Well, there might be another reason, which is that shares in Tesla are tanking, down 7%, I think, at the start of regular trading today. Now, that might just be a market reaction. It may recover, but certainly recent numbers for Tesla have not been good.
Oh my God,
John, what do you think of this? I mean, it's not an intelligence issue, but as an American, what do you feel about now the potential for a third party by somebody who's actually got the means to make it significant?
Well, it wasn't too long ago that Ross Perot was able to buy 30.
Why are we arguing that? Like, can you do you have access to Google stocks?
Yeah, I should.
Can you pull up Tesla? TSLA is the ticker's name. Their stock price over the last, let's say, 5 years.
All right, no problem. Let's see.
Because they're talking about, oh, it's going down. It's going down. This is why. Like, shut up. If you don't know, like, they literally look at it.
5 years, yeah, in the 5-year projection, it is definitely
Ups
up.
and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. It's going right back up right after this. Like
Even in the year projection, I mean, we give a 6 month. Okay, 6 month projection. That's a little
6 months
different.
is down. Cool.
Yeah, but if we then 1 month down, of course. Well, and it seems steady. Well,
That's
steady.
today.
Yeah, steady.
Like
We'll
I
see.
have made so much money just swapping Tesla every time it goes up and down. I missed this drop, so I missed out on this.
People,
But it literally is cyclical.
volatility.
Hey, all right then. All right, let me go ahead and get right back to the video here. And shout out Monty for that one.
Minute blocks on literally every network to promote his own candidacy and got something like 19%, which was very, very respectable for an independent presidential candidate. But it didn't lead to anything. With Elon Musk, there's nothing behind it but money. There's nobody running in the state legislatures, nobody running for Congress and whatever it's called, the American Party or some silly name like that. There's nobody running for the local school board or the water commission that's going to be the roots of this new party. I think that this is just kind of a vanity project, and I have to agree that I think in 6 months some shiny object is going to distract Elon Musk, and we're not going to even hear about this party anymore.
Jack, what do you feel about
Big
this?
words from some guy whose name I've never heard of.
What?
Him. It's some shiny. I hate how much people try to discredit the man. I take it a little personally because I mean, but a shiny object, like it's just the ad hominems are wild. Like when the man sets his mind to something, the world changes, usually for the better. Everything he has done has changed the world for the better. So
you gotta give him that one.
Everything he has done, like I cannot name a thing that he has not set his mind to. I mean, he's very bad with timeline predictions. I mean, I'm still waiting on that.